And are you able to tell me what the people in these pictures have in common? Yeah, they're happy, but can't be the happiness the only thing that they share? So, what the people in this picture share, they bring inside of them in their heart, and isn't love. It's a small device called pacemaker. And today I'm going to talk about this amazing technology about the three main points, which are the first, description and history, second, operation, and some important considerations about this device. If you have any questions about it, you can. I appreciate answer all of them in the end of this lecture. So let's move on to our first topic, which is description and history. Okay. So the big question is, what does a pacemaker do? A pacemaker controls abnormal heart rhythms. That can be in three different types. When the heart beats too fast, called tachycardia, or too slow, bradycardia, or any irregular rhythm. So, how do we control it? It's controlled sounding low, slow impulse to the heart, low electrical impulse. Sorry. And this consists of three things: a battery, a computerized generator, and wires with sensors at their tips. This sensor is the famous electrodes. I think it's a widely medical term, electrodes. So here we have one pacemaker, and you can see that it is small. These units are in centimeters. So now I'm going to talk more about the routine. All began in 1899 with this guy, called John McWilliam. He reported his experience in which applicants of electrical in the human heart in asystole. Asystole is a medical term for cardiac arrest. It's the same as without beat. Okay. So now let we know more about what a pacemaker is. Let's move on to our first topic that I will explain more about his operation. He operates the physics principles. It's simple. The battery powers the generator, and the wires connect the generator, the computerized that generates to the heart. And if the electrodes detect any abnormal heart rhythm, he sent back to the generator, and the generator replies, sending electrical pulses to the heart. Simple. There are two types of pacemaker programming. This is important. The main pacing is just sending impulse if the heart is too slow or without beat. And rate responsive pacing, it's more complex. This sound, it can speed up or slow down the heart. And about the duration, can be the two types. Temporary or permanent. The temporary are frequently used in situations like short heart problems, such as heart attacks or heart surgery, or overdose of medicines. The temporary duration is also used in emergency. For example, when a patient is in the hospital and he's waiting for a permanent pacemaker. But he's almost dying, so the doctors need to put a temporary pacemaker there. So the temporary pacemaker is characterized mainly for the duration. All the patient needs to be in the hospital. If he is with the temporary pacemaker. The permanent pacemaker I use for the most case, okay. And like I said at the beginning, tachycardia, bradycardia, or any kind of irregular heart rhythm. So now let's move on to our next topic, which is considerations. Some considerations are very important, especially these newer pacemakers, the advances, because they can do these important things. They can measure, the new pacemaker can measure the breathing rate and blood temperature. Just because of this, they can slow down the heart, the other pacemaker. The lifestyle of the patient is so important because the patient needs to avoid contact with field magnetic fields, for example, small things like cell phones or MP3s. In her house, household appliances like micro oven, or he needs to avoid to unusual things like metal detectors in airports. He needs also avoid full contact sports, such as soccer, because of the impact in the chest. He needs replace the battery and out in 5 to 15 years. He needs to go to the doctor to replace the battery. He needs also to submit himself into checkups regularly 3 months. So similar device like a pacemaker, we have the defibrillator. Defibrillator, but it's a kind of defibrillator that is inside the heart. It's instead low energy. He sends high energy, high electrical energy. And ensure heart transplant. This is the precursor of the heart transplant. So, in conclusion, when people associate the heart is associated to happiness, passion, love, and lovers. All these are because the heart is an organ extremely important because he makes the body works. He pumps the blood. So a pacemaker helps the blood pump the blood correctly. In this lecture, we could see 3 main points: the description and history, its operation, and some important considerations about the pacemaker. So I appreciate your attention, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Go ahead. Here's Marcelo.